The latest. Thank you for your love and support. I appreciate you. Or something amazing has just happened between Benin and Niger. We have been calling for the black unity. We have been calling for oneness. We are the only ones that can love ourselves. And until we start treating ourselves the way we want to be treated outside of the continent, we'll never get that treatment. Unity is all that matters. And finally, Niger and Benin are doing something wonderful. Under the previous administration led by Patrice Talon, we've seen that Benin and Niger, they have even closed borders for about 3 years now. Nobody is crossing each other's line because all in all, the savior, the protector, the unifier, the messiah, the king of kings, the most loved, General Assimi Goïta has always accused Benin of allowing its territories to be used against their sovereignty, fighting for their survival. Tension was not good. But finally, we are seeing something good after the visit of the new president, Ouattara, to Niger. According to the report that is coming, these two leaders have decided to create an environment whereby Africans can move among themselves. We can do trade again. So they are thinking about reopening their borders to each other so that people can move freely. Trade can be done. This is all that we are looking for. This is what we have been preaching for as Africans, because if we ourselves cannot do things for ourselves, move freely among ourselves, then where else? And if our own continent, we are still not welcoming ourselves, then that is bad for us. As Africans, our problem has been the love towards each other. And this is a good move. This is what we have been yearning for as Africans: unity, togetherness, working with one another. We are talking about free trade area. If we cannot have good relationship among ourselves, tension every day, how do we as Africans trade freely among ourselves? Africans, we need ourselves more than any other person. We are programmed to always look outside of ourselves whenever we are faced with situation. We tend to look at other people to come into the continent to do things for us. That is why people are taking advantage over the African. But if we start looking inwardly into our own selves whenever there's issues among ourselves, then the African is a step forward for freedom. We need ourselves more than any other person. And the beauty of us working together in unity, in love, is the best way to defeat whatever that is chasing after us.
We move from words to actions. Only 72 hours after the visit to Niamey by the new Beninese President Ouattara, things are concretely changing. The President of the Republic, Head of State, General Abdourahmane Tiani, had promised it. Bilateral cooperation must be reborn on strict foundations of sincerity and mutual respect for sovereignty. Indeed, this Friday, Prime Minister Ali Mamane Laminezine officially established the committee tasked with considering the reopening of the border with Benin. This strategic team brings together key figures from the National Council for the Safeguard of the Homeland, including the Minister of State, Minister of the Interior, Public Security and Territorial Administration, Major General Mohamed Toumba, government members as well as civilian and military experts in territorial surveillance. They have 15 days to submit their report to the two heads of state. The objective is to materialize the political commitments while ensuring maximum security at the borders. It should be noted that during the recent visit of the President of the Republic of Benin to Niger, Niamey and Cotonou committed to work towards removing all obstacles hindering the strengthening of bilateral cooperation, notably the reopening of the border between the two countries, closed since July 30th, 2023. And the representation of the African Development Bank, ADB, aims to monitor the flagship project related to strengthening the supply of drinking water, sanitation, and improving resilience in the city of Zinda Ngigmi and the surrounding villages. The purpose of this meeting is to review the progress of the program, particularly the measures to be implemented for the launch and groundbreaking of the project's construction.
So which we took stock with the Prime Minister, and here I wanted to thank the national authorities for their commitment to efficiency or diligence in handling the files. It is a project that was approved on the 5th of November, as I was saying, but already 2 or 3 months later, the President ratified it by ordinance. And today we are 7 months from its approval. The conditions are already in place for the first disbursement. So that means the launch is on the right track. Now, for the laying of the foundation stones of the works as well, for really significant amounts, we are working with the national side to speed up the whole process so that by the end of the year, we can proceed with laying the first stone of the works on the ground.
The African Development Bank.
The leaders in Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso, the only crime they have committed is rising to fight for their true liberation. Like always, the leaders make it clear to us that their only crime is fighting to nationalize their resources, making sure the resources are used to benefit the African, not for the resources to be taken out of the continent while we suffer. And at the end of the day, they still point fingers at our leaders that they are corrupt, they are the ones looting us. But like Dr. Rekana will always say, it takes two to tango. When the resources are taken out of Africa, who does it end with? We can't be fighting among ourselves in this 21st century. If you, the Africans, still can see your own selves as one people, so we need to work in unity, so we need to accept one another, then where else will you be accepted and how will you move forward? We are the only ones that will need ourselves, will stand by ourselves whenever there is a threat against us. You will never find anyone to rise for you, the African. If there's something against you, it is your own brother who will rise with you to fight for your sovereignty or to protect you from whatever external threat that is coming. And if the unity we are fighting for is not there, then that is where the division has come and people are thriving on the division of the African. They know that A, B are not in good terms. A, B are not in good terms. So they capitalize on that to make sure they widen out the gap and will continue to be fighting among ourselves instead of seeing how close we are. Like these tribal things that we are fighting here and there when we're supposed to see ourselves as one people. Africa is not moving forward because of the divide and conquer. And until we are able to break away from that divide and conquer strategy, it will be very difficult for us to move forward. Whatever that is separating the African from uniting, we need to fight to close the gap. Until these loopholes are filled, we will never be able to stand on our feet. It's not about sitting in African Union to be declaring a free trade area. We are one people. Africans are Pan-Africans. We are doing ABC Agenda 2060. When today we are not able to unite. If we don't correct every mistake, that Agenda 2060 will not come. It will always be a speech and it will be a slogan. So as Africans, today is what matters. We need to fight for today, like Captain Ibrahim Traore said. If the today's situation is not solved, you are thinking about tomorrow. How will tomorrow come? Because whatever happens in the present has something to do with the past. So our past will always lead us to the present. So we need to break free from all these barriers and make sure the unity we are looking for comes. We can't be having issues. Don't cross my border. Don't come here. You're a foreigner. You are not accepted. You are this. Those things must end. We should be able to love ourselves. Unity and love towards each other is what matters. And I think what we need as Africans is the love for ourselves. We don't have that love towards ourselves. We love any other person except ourselves. And we can never get to anywhere if we continue to be doing this. The love that we need for ourselves must be given to ourselves. We should learn to love ourselves before we claim that we'll give love to any other person outside of ourselves. If you cannot love yourself, how do you then give that same thing to somebody else? So we have been deceiving ourselves. We have been deceiving ourselves by loving other people more than our own selves. The day has come, the time has come for us all to rise in unity. Unity and self-love is the most important thing that we need. These are the most important things that we need as Africans. Loving ourselves, accepting ourselves, and understanding that you need your brother for your own survival. Africans, we live as one people and we see ourselves as one people, regardless of what situation. But we need to start loving ourselves and protecting ourselves rather than trying to help other people to, you understand? Because Africa is the only place we have and the only continent will ever be accepted. So why don't we make it a better place by loving ourselves and expecting other people to love us when we do not love ourselves? It is not going to happen. So before we can be accepted worldwide, we need to start accepting who we are and loving ourselves before we will then demand other people to give us that which we don't want to give to ourselves. We are the only ones that can set ourselves free. United we stand, divided we fall, and united we keep standing forever and ever. The greatest enemy of the African is mental slavery. So let's decolonize ourselves from mental slavery. Let's keep sharing to educate our brothers and sisters. Together we make Africa great for ourselves and the next generations that are going to come. So that's the latest around the world in Africa, West Africa, and in Niger and Benin.